Great and beautiful mystery. Creator, creatrix, Mother, Father, God, all that is not. Kali, Amachi, Parvati, Ganesha, Kuan Yin, Kuan Kong, Christ, Ava Maria, Nagakanya, power animals and allies, Mohammed, Buddha, Allah, Okami, Hanabku, Hanalye, Yum. I thank you, great and beautiful mystery, for coming and being with us here where you already reside. And Creator, we're coming to you and we're talking with you and asking about right livelihood tonight and right use of love and right use of power. And we ask that you will come and share with us what you know for each of us as individuals and for the sweet face of Mother Nature. Please guide us and assist us so that our livelihood benefits all beings. We welcome you. Aho. Amen. Yay, isn't this marvelous? Hello, everyone. I get to see some new faces and some faces that I love very much and some familiar faces, so welcome, and I'm so grateful to be here with you, and thank you for your interest in right livelihood and right use of power and right use of love, right use of power and right use of love. There's a really beautiful prayer that I like to say, and I say it oftentimes right before I have a work day. I've said it today, and I would like to begin our day, or our evening talk with this prayer, and it's great mystery, powers of the water. I send a voice in prayer. I'm asking for entrance through the gates of knowledge. I'm seeking to cross the realms. Spirit of the water, open your gifts that want to be of service today through my work. Thank you for the blessing of gifts. Thank you for the blessing of work. Thank you for the blessing of the earth. So that is a shortened version of that prayer. And that prayer is a prayer that asks for our guidance to be with us in our work. It's not like I'm the guide and the director to this work. And so if I have a right livelihood, it's different than having a business, because a business is like a busyness. It's actually, that's how it's spelled, is busyness. Specifically, it's spelled that way. And right livelihood is actually part of the Eightfold Buddhist Path, right? And the Eightfold Buddhist Path is right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort. Well, actually, I just want a job where I don't have to make any effort, and I want it to pay all of my bills in full, and I want to be able to kind of be a slacker, you know, and just hang out and be done for, right? You know, but work is work, right? Livelihood is effort. It requires effort on our parts, and one of the things that I think about is I think about the harvest and what it used to be like before we had vehicles and gasoline and things to make our harvest for us, you know? So we had horses, or we would go out and we would pick things by hand. Before that, we picked things by hand. We would go and we'd walk, we'd pick things by hand. And we knew the seasons, and we knew when things were ripe. Every continent around the world, it's very clear when things were ripe, when we needed to go and harvest so that we could be nurtured and nourished and fed throughout the year, right? And so it's a cycle, like everything moves in these cycles, and we're in a cycle, right, Jackie B. Sunshine? Mm-hmm. We are in a cycle. And right now we're in a cycle of the winter, and we're moving out of the time of the harvest. And the harvest is letting go, but it's also the time of gathering. And so during this season, we're asked, what is it that I want to let go of, and what is it that I want to gather? And how do I want to be nurtured during this time? What is it that I want to have nurture me as I move into this time of winter, as I move into the time of deep rest, deep gestation, deep hibernation? And one of the things I can bring with me into this time of reflection is what is it that I deeply love? Because I really love my glasses. I love my glasses. I wanted to read this to you. The practice of right livelihood means you have to find a way to earn your living without transgressing your ideals of love and compassion. Okay? So the practice of right livelihood means you have to find a way to earn your living without transgressing your ideals of love and compassion. That's from Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh. The way you support yourself can be an expression of your deepest self, or it can be a source of suffering for you or others. So are you suffering? Are you suffering in your job? Are you suffering in your work? That is not what Great Spirit wants for you. That is not what Great Spirit has in store for you. The weird thing about Great Spirit, Creator, Creatrix, Mother, Father, God, Muhammad, Buddha, Allah, Okami, Hanaku, Hanayeyum, the funny thing about that being, that great and beautiful mystery, is that it wants you to be fucking happy. That mystery didn't make you to be miserable and schlep your way around on the face of the planet trying to just act out some kind of an existence. It's not what the Creator had in store for you or in mind for any of us. So what is essential is that we start to recognize, in my body, I can recognize what I love. And I can recognize what I love in such a way that I can be close to it. So it's interesting, sometimes we love something and we will keep it as far fucking away from us as we can. We're just like, oh my God, I really, it's like when we see that person, we have a little crush on him and we're like, ah! It's like, oh my God, he's over there. Oh my God, he's over there. Oh my God. And we just totally, completely we just go crazy. We lose our minds, right? And so instead of losing my mind, what I could do is I could see love as something that causes me to want to have intimacy with someone or something, right? And so for me, my loves are really clear. I know exactly what it is that I value. What I value is my relationship with Spirit, number one. Creator is my number one. Great Spirit, that relationship is number one for me. And all of my experiences are derived from that connection. So everything that I do comes from that experience that I have with the divine, which is my number one relationship, right? So that's my number one. And then I have my teaching and the mentoring, right? So those are my other, it's your beloved. Those are my other loves, right? So that is my beloved. So what is your beloved? And how can you get intimate with your beloved, right? How can you be close to your beloved and touch your beloved, right? Instead of thinking, oh, it's something that's far off in the distance that I'll be able to do someday. Right? Now, there's only a few of us who are happy with only one thing to do. Right? Most of us are not happy with only one thing to do. We have many dreams and several desires and things that we want to touch or experience. Right, Kat? Yeah, really, for real. Yeah, it's so full and it's so rich. And so the key is to make sure that I'm taking care of myself and I am in contact with my beloved. So when I was younger, I worked at a pet store. When I think I was 17, and I loved it. And within a month, I was made manager of the reptile department. I don't know what that means when I think about it now, but it's interesting. But I loved the animals. Right? And after that, I worked in a nursing home, and I was an RNA, and then they said, we'd really like for you to be this assistant director in these activities, because I loved elders. Okay? And at the same time, I was a nanny, because I love children, and I'm dedicated to the well-being of children and of elders, right? And so those are all the things that I did while I was completely, absolutely, 100% devoted and dedicated to my prayer time, my meditation time, and assisting others in whatever way I could through my spiritual gifts and spiritual guidance. But I did not charge anything for that for 10 years. So I had these other things where I got to cultivate my interests. Elders, animals, children, right? And then I also had the opportunity to discover what I really liked and what I didn't really like. And so that's called experimentation. So what is it that you love that you haven't had the courage to experiment with yet? That could bring you right livelihood. So now I'm teaching and my schedule is booked I don't know how long in advance, kind of crazy. But it's because I love it. And then I get mad and upset because I can't see everybody right the fuck now that I want to fucking see. So I have an expletive thing, so if you don't like expletives, you're not in the right class. That's my... Just so you know, I love them, and I think fucking is good for the universe. There should be a lot more of it. Really, a lot more of it. It's really good news. Or, call it whatever you want. I'm not very PC. All right. And so one of the things that we know is we know that we have these loves. And what's interesting is that we usually have some kind of a vision or an idea or a concept of these other loves. Right? So we'll have a vision. Most people would call that a vision. Okay? Now, it doesn't have to be like, oh, all stellar and, all of these fireworks and all of these things happening. Sometimes it's a simple, in that liminal place between sleeping and being awake, I have this image or this idea. But it requires intimacy. Okay, it requires commitment. It requires closeness. And so we have to have that courage to go to it. Okay, and to love it and to give to it and to surrender to it. And there's something that we really have issue with, which is we want oftentimes for it to give only what we want it to give to us. So, this work, I only want this work to give me this and this and this and this, right? I never want to have any difficulties. I don't ever want to feel sad about it, or I don't, ever want to have any hardship, or, it's guaranteed if you love something, it's going to give you all of that. It is going to give you, the deepest sorrow and the highest heights. And it's going to piss you off. And it is going to excite you and just turn you into jelly with excitement and joy and satisfaction and contentment. Right? But what it requires is a commitment. So if we're looking at right use of love and right use of power, we have a current of energy that's always moving through us. And I call that my current, right? And so there's this current of energy. It's always moving through us. Where am I putting that current? Where am I putting that current? And there is, what I love about the word livelihood is that the word lively is in it. You know what I'm saying? I better not say that right now. I'm going to stay on the subject matter. I almost had a parenthesis, a very long one. So the interesting thing about the word livelihood is the word lively is in it. Okay? And so do I have a liveliness? Do I have an energy? So when I finish the work that I love, do I go home and still have a happiness and an excitement and a contentment about what I'm doing? And am I excited about the next thing? Or do I see it as, do I see going home as another job that maybe I don't like as much? Right? Or is the work at home harder than the work at work? Right?